If you've ever held an old Australian $2 note, you might remember the face on it, a stern-looking fellow. Presented as a pillar of Australian history, that man was John Macarthur. And while he's often celebrated as the father of the Australian wool industry, the real story is, well, it's a lot messier and a lot more criminal. He wasn't just a pioneer. He was arguably one of early Australia's most ruthless and manipulative figures. A real crook on the cash. Let's rewind to 1790. The British colony in New South Wales is just a couple of years old. It's a harsh, brutal place, essentially a giant open-air prison. And into this chaos steps a young, ambitious, and incredibly hot-headed lieutenant named John Macarthur. He arrives as part of the New South Wales Corps, a military force sent to keep order. But very quickly it becomes clear that Macarthur isn't interested in just keeping order. He's interested in creating his own. You see, the Nez Dalos Corps, under the influence of men like Macarthur, quickly earned a nickname, the Rum Corps. Why? Because they seized control of the colony's most valuable commodity, alcohol, specifically rum. They were supposed to be the law, but instead, they became the mafia. They used their military power to monopolize the import of spirits and then used that rum as a form of currency. They paid workers in rum, they traded for goods with rum, and they got stinking rich doing it. And John Macarthur? He was at the absolute center of this racket. He wasn't just a soldier, he was a racketeer. His ambition knew no bounds. He used his position to acquire huge grants of land that was, of course, stolen from the local indigenous people. He was a master manipulator, constantly clashing with the governors sent from London. He saw them not as his superiors, but as obstacles to his personal wealth and power. He was infamous for his duels. If you crossed John Macarthur, you didn't just get a strongly worded letter, you could get a pistol ball in the shoulder. He was fiery, confrontational, and utterly convinced of his own superiority. The peak of his audacity came in 1808. The governor at the time, William Bligh, yes, the same Captain Bligh from the mutiny on the Bounty, tried to crack down on the Rum Corps' illegal trade. Bligh was a naval man, used to discipline, and he was horrified by the corruption he saw. He saw Macarthur for what he was, a power-hungry monopolist. So what did Macarthur do? Did he back down? Absolutely not. He orchestrated a full-blown military coup. This is Australia's one and only military coup, and it was led by the guy on our $2 note. On January 26, 1808, Macarthur had Governor Bligh arrested and deposed in what became known as the Rum Rebellion. Macarthur and his cronies effectively ran the colony themselves for the next 2 years. Eventually, the British government had to step in. Macarthur was sent back to England to face charges. But in a twist that shows just how influential he was, he managed to talk his way out of any serious punishment. He was exiled from the colony for a while, but he eventually returned, more powerful than ever. He poured his energy and his ill-gotten wealth into fine-tuning the wool industry, importing merino sheep and proving that Australia could produce some of the best wool in the world. So yes, he was a pioneer, but his pioneering spirit was built on a foundation of corruption, rebellion, and exploitation. He was a master of a corrupt system, a rebel who overthrew a governor for personal gain, and a man who built an empire on stolen land and a rum monopoly. The next time you hear the name John Macarthur, remember the full picture. Not just the respectable gentleman on the old banknote, but the pertinacious troublemaker, the architect of a military coup, the real crook who was once, quite literally, on our cash.